Hi, this is Heather Wainer live from Expo West at the Whole Foods booth, and we are doing a version of Natural View Live here at Expo West. And I am joined today with a special guest, Dan Fabricant from the NPA. And we're just really excited now because NPA is celebrating their 90th anniversary, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. So, Dan, thanks so much for joining me.
Heather, thanks for having us, and thanks for all your support over the years for NPA and NFA, the many iterations.
Well, growing up in the industry, it's been a part of my life.
Right.
And I mean, my dad is a recipient of an NPA award, and just you guys have always had a special play, and what you do for the industry has been amazing. And let's talk about the past 90 years.
Wow, so much, right? 1936, born out of the mom and pop health food stores, still around, independent, still around, but fights from the 40s on claims, the 70s on Proxmire Amendment, Duché, obviously, adverse event reporting bill, recent fights, and we still have fights. The states are obviously critical. They're coming after us. In the 90 years, I think it's safe to say, even though the industry has by and large won and is everywhere, naturals everywhere now, we still have fights. And even with the opportunities we have right now, we still have a lot of challenges. So we want to stay strong and keep the industry in a good place.
Absolutely. And going back, obviously, there's been some history. This is the 45th Expo West, which is only half of NPA.
Right.
So that's amazing there. And yeah, I mean, you see the changes that have happened, and the mom and pops. I don't see as many mom and pops here.
Unfortunately,
but,
no.
Yeah.
At the same time, the biggest thing is wherever people get their natural products, we want to make sure that everything's viable and we're doing the right thing. And I mean, I think that's the best part is the consumer confidence, not just here in the United States, but globally, right? The industry's grown so much because of publications like yours getting the word out, because of good people on the floor here making quality products. That's the big thing. We made promises, we kept promises.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And I know you have been fighting for us on the Hill constantly. Let's talk a little bit about the state problem. I'm from New Jersey, which
Yes.
is one of them that comes up.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we have, 20 states now that have introduced age restriction bills on dietary supplements. And people go, that's ridiculous. They don't have a stitch of science. They don't, but it doesn't matter. This is power politics. 20 states, one thing. They go, wait a second. The folks in the state legislature go, oh, we can get in the press on this issue. So let's do it, right? Everyone loves their dietary supplements. So we're fighting back, and we fought back really well, with the exception of New York. That's the only bill that went into law. So fortunately, what we've been able to do is work with Congressman Langworthy from New York. He introduced a bill. He's obviously New York to kind of address that. However, we need everyone's support. And this is why Flying Day is so important this year. We're going to go whip the vote and get other members of Congress in, both sides of the aisle, to say, hey, wait, we need one set of good laws. We have them at FDA. We don't need the states to kind of jumble things up and really make problems where they shouldn't be there. And like the supposition about dietary supplements and eating disorders. There's no science. You guys have covered that brilliantly. And that's really important, that we're able to fight back and have every other FDA regulated industry has FDA as their regulator, not the states. Why don't we have the same thing?
Couldn't agree more. Since you brought in Flying Day, I definitely want to talk about Flying Day.
Yeah.
So I know Whole Foods will be there.
Yes.
We are going to be represented there, and we are really looking forward to it. Tell us why someone should attend Fly-In Day. It is free event, which is amazing, and what they could expect by going there.
Well, it's interesting. Washington, D.C. has over 4,600 associations, right? So we think we have a lot of associations in general. Everyone's fighting for oxygen. Everyone's trying to get to their member of Congress and say, hey, here's why my business is important. I pay taxes. I employ people. We do good for the health and wellness of the country. They see Kyle and I all the time there. They want to hear from the constituents. They want to hear from the people who are hiring people, who are trying to grow their business, who are making a difference in Americans' lives. And they look at that as, if you're willing to show up in DC, you're also willing to show up and vote. And so that's important. Our friends are where we make them, and we want to make as many friends in Congress as possible, because that's really where we advance the industry. So that's why it's important. Folks always go, well, I don't have time or budget or anything else. You don't have the luxury of not being there. You know the saying, you've heard us say it every year. You and I have done a lot of flying days together. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu, and we don't want to be on the menu unless it's making people healthier. We need to make sure our voices are heard and we're able to influence policy, not politics, but influence policy in the right way.
Absolutely. What are do you know what points you want to talk about yet?
Yeah, obviously state preemption is a big one. That's a big one. We've got to get that really. And some people even go, well, it'll never pass or won't pass this Congress because everything going on in DC. We can't have that attitude. It's way too important, because if we don't act now,
Mhm.
In a year, maybe it's 25 states. In 2 years, maybe it's 30 states. So we've got to address it now. So that's a big one. HSAs and FSAs, obviously, drug preemption. We need definitions of what, you know, things like peptides. Apparently, peptides only a drug. I'm like, wait a second. My eggs this morning, they're peptides all the way through there. So those are the conversations we need to have and we're going to have and make sure that we're moving the industry in the right direction.
Well, I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully we will have some good participation there. So now we are talking 90 years in the past,
Yeah.
and we've talked about archives. I said Whole Foods has a huge archive.
Oh, yeah.
You were telling me about the archives that NPA
Yeah.
has.
Yeah. On the old dietary ingredient list, we have 1,850 references from the old health food retailers from the old NFA days, and they've got at FDA standard is independent verifiable evidence, which you have as well, because it was there in print.
Yes.
And go, wait a second, it's got a date, it's got the volume. It's really important because it helps solidify the ingredient base for the industry. And people can go, hey, no, this was on the market, and it's a great thing that you guys are doing. And looking forward to working with you more on that.
Absolutely. So, what do we think? Tell me what the present now, besides Flying Day, what can we expect from this year, the big 90th anniversary? What are things we can expect from this year?
Sure. Hot news. FDA just announced they're having a meeting on March 27th on ingredients. They're really looking at the definition of ingredients, like we just talked on the peptide example, precision fermentation as well. So probiotics, enzymes, things like that. Those aren't codified under DSHEA, right? We've got vitamin, mineral, botanical, amino acid, but we don't have enzymes, which are usually either a combination of amino acids like peptides are
Yes.
too.
Uh-huh.
So we need something definitionally at FF1E, which is substances to supplement the diet. Everyone goes, what does it mean? When I was a regulator, the idea was to make it a smaller category. I think the industry's idea is make it a larger category. So we're going to see what shakes out there. But I think it's important that we have really good science behind it. And the folks who are the experts come and speak about it. The trades will be there speaking about it. I imagine folks like CSPI will be speaking about it too, but makes for a good conversation. I think going forward, we need clarity in that definition. If people are going to reinvest in the industry, we want to make sure we've got past the market.
Great. Yeah, I know some people already told me they're attending that meeting.
Yeah.
We will see what you could do as well.
Sounds good.
So now let's talk about the future.
Yeah.
What can we expect in the next 90 years with home?
Wow. I think the future is very bright, right? 70% of Americans, 80%, depending on who you believe, use a supplement every day, which when DSHEA passed, I don't think people thought that was possible. And I think you can only get better from here, though we're still going to have our challenges, right? We've got to fix this thing at the state level. We've got to fix the drug preclusion issue so we don't have to sue on NMN again. And these are some critical things. And also things come out of left field, like this year, last year with the tariffs. If you would have told me at the end of 2024, 2025 would predominantly be occupied for us by working on getting tariff exemptions, I'd be like, Heather, there's no chance. But you know what? That's what it was. So I think it's just a matter of keeping folks engaged. Engagement's always been critical to the industry. That's how we got here.
Yes.
And, the future, we want it to be bright. It's how much we're going to engage. So you guys do a great job getting people engaged. Thank you for that. And we're looking forward to more of that for the next 90 years.
Awesome. Well, engage. Yes. Yeah, you brought up the tariffs. That's been a big conversation still coming on this show floor now.
Yeah.
Obviously, at supply side global, it was even more.
Yes.
There have been some reconciliations since then.
Yeah.
But it still is a big talking point.
It's a big talking point. We were able to get some exemptions. And now there's the issue with the Supreme Court and are they gonna give funds back or not? So stay tuned.
Yes, there's a lot to stay tuned to. But anything you see walking around the floor now, anything you've seen that has really been interesting to you?
I mean, there's a lot of interesting, like we talked about with some of the growth, like with precision fermentation, with some of the new areas, with so many clinical trials on probiotics and things like that. It's great to see some of that taking hold on the show floor. It's always good to see old friends and new, right? It's that's the exciting thing is we get a good mix of tradition, but there's always push for innovation. So that's exciting.
I couldn't agree more. It's been this is only first day.
Yeah.
But it's been an exciting show so far. There's been a lot of action. There's a lot of people here. Expo West wouldn't be that way if it wasn't.
Right. It gets a little crazy, but we like
yes,
it
yes,
way.
yes. The craziness feeds us kind of.
It does.
We've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to add or anything?
No, just again, thank you for all your work. Obviously you and I haven't been here all 90 years, but I think a lot of good between NPA and WholeFoods Magazine. So we're grateful for that. And we'll see you in May at Fly-In.
Absolutely. We're grateful too. And we We appreciate the working with us and giving us all the education that we do. And it's been a great partnership that we look looking forward to continuing.
Thanks, Heather.
Thank you so much. This was a Natural View live at Expo West.